This was my second year hunting and camping with these fellows. The year before, we camped in Mendocino National Forest. This summer, we headed up north to Trinity Shasta National Forest. It was quite a drive up the Central Valley. Good evening. We arrived at our campsite here at Deerlick Springs a couple hours ago and picked out a campsite, and we set up our tents, set up our campsite, and we're probably going to eat dinner, and I don't think we're going to do any hunting. Yeah, we're just getting settled into camp. We've got a 2-hole outhouse. We have a fire pit, a picnic table, a creek right next to us where I can hear the creek. So let me go ahead and show you the setup here. Here is the outhouse. Picnic table, fire pit. There's Vern, Bob. 3 tents here. Big tent, medium tent. We have a bear box here for food storage, and then my tent down there, right next to the creek. Pretty good setup. Sweet setup. Then right at the entrance to the campground, we have a little store here behind me. Deerlick Springs store. And I guess there's some people that live here. The store didn't seem to be open when I went there earlier today. And then there's a bunch of campsites up there. So there's 2 groups of campsites. There's even a couple 3 walking campsites. You have to walk across the bridge and you can camp there. It's free camping. Here's what the store looks like. It looks like the store's only open Friday and Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. They sell ice. They're selling some eggs. I saw a freezer in there. But I guess if we honk the horn, we could probably have them come out and sell us some ice or some other stuff. And then here's our campsite right up here. We're the only campers in the campground. Deerlick Springs Campground, Shasta County, Shasta National Forest. Yeah, there was a fire up here a couple years ago. This is all burnt forest. Shasta-Trinity National Forest. Nearest town is Platina. We've been driving around for about 3 hours this morning, looking at the good spots where we can hunt to come back to at a later time. So we just stopped here on the road and I found this little trail. I'm walking up it now, walking back down to the car. They're down here on the road. I'll show you. We're here in Hayfork, California, the marijuana growing capital of Northern California. Just joking, but there is a lot of marijuana. We passed about 3 marijuana farms here this morning. But about an hour ago we were driving on a dirt road and it became very narrow and overgrown. And there was no place to turn around, so we could only go forward. And the car got really scratched up. We were on it for almost a mile. And so anyway, we're here getting gas in Hayfork, filling up the car. But I want to show you some of these scratches on the car here. Anyway, we're filling up the gas, getting some coffee. Back at the campground now. I found this really cool trail and right next to the campsite where we're staying. It's called the Corral Gulch Trail. I think it goes 3 to 4 miles up this creek. I haven't followed it the whole way. I'm gonna take a little walk up there and kind of show you what it looks like. Here's the sign. There's the creek right over there. As you can see, it's right next to some walk-in campsites. There's 3 walk-in campsites here. Pretty nice trail, just kind of goes up this creek. It's kind of nice and cool down here next to the creek. It's 91 degrees today, so it's kind of nice and cool down here. Now, I haven't seen any fish in this creek, but there is water flowing in it. We just ran into a guy who came to our campground to clean the toilets. There's two toilets. He had to drive in all the way to clean them. And that's what he's doing there now. Got a power washer in the back of his pickup truck. So we just came back to camp. It's about 2:30. Came back for some lunch. and then we're going to take a little nap and head back out for an evening hunt somewhere. So that should be nice. This is a really great shaded little trail, not too steep. I can hear the water in the creek right down below me. Let's see if you can pick up the sound of that water here. Funny little story. On the way back to camp today, we ran into a wild flock of turkeys on the road. Bob stopped and said, well, I've got a .22 pistol here with birdshot. But we decided against shooting a turkey. We've got so much food to cook and eat that we don't really want to deal with that. Plus, we don't really have a license for a turkey. So, we decided not to. Now I'm hiking a little bit further up the trail, the Corral Trail. Here's what I'm seeing. Now I'm walking back down to the camp. I walked up about 12 or 15 minutes up the trail until it crossed a tiny little trickle, and then it kind of petered out. So rather than try to find the trail, I decided it's time to turn around. We are planning an evening hunt this evening, and it's already it's almost 5, so I gotta get back to camp. I don't want them to take off without me. But when I left, they were sitting around talking, and I thought this was a good time for me to get some exercise. I walked down to the store and I watched the highlights of the 49ers game from last Sunday, which was good because now the 49ers are 2-2. After eating lunch of another sandwich, same lunch as yesterday, cold cuts and cheese, I'm gonna, rather than taking a nap like I did yesterday, I decided to try to stay a little more active because there'll be plenty of time to sleep tonight. We're talking about getting up early tomorrow. We haven't been getting up until about 7 a.m., but we're talking about getting up before sunrise tomorrow so that we can get in an early hunt, which is the best time to see deer. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye. One thing I failed to mention is that where we're camping, there's no buzzing flies or mosquitoes, but as soon as you cross that bridge and start hiking up the creek, you run into the bugs. I don't know what they're gnats or mosquitoes, I can't really tell, but they're the type of bugs that just kind of, you can hear them buzzing around your head and they kind of follow you around. So that's what I'm dealing with now. I don't know if you can see them here. Yeah, that's what I'm dealing with here. So it's a good thing we camped on the other side of the creek. We don't have to deal with these buzzing flies. All right, talk to you later. Bye. Good afternoon. We got up early this morning, about 5:30, to get an early start. And then after breakfast and coffee, we did a lot of driving, at least like 3 or 4 hours of driving, and we didn't get any shots. Saw some nice country, and now we're back at camp where we are planning to have some lunch and then go out again in the evening. Thursday, our last full day here. We got here Sunday afternoon. Today's Thursday. So we had kind of a leisurely morning, slept in a little bit, and then had a breakfast and drove up to this ridge where we're driving around looking for deer. Yeah, so we kind of parked up here on the side of the road, just taking a break. Good morning again. So the three guys I'm hunting with this week, Glenn, Bob, and Vern, have been hunting together for years. They were members of a private hunting club near their town for many years, but what happened was that the club closed down, or they got kicked out of the club or something, and now we're just hunting on public property. Specifically, we're in Shasta County. It's Shasta-Trinity National Forest. Last summer, I went with Vern and Bob and we hunted in Mendocino National Forest. So that we're not really used to hunting on public land. We're a little more competitive because you have a lot of people out here hunting, looking for deer. The unique thing about our campsite, Deerlick Springs Campground, it's a National Forest campground. First of all, it's free. And it's right next to a private campground, so it's right next to privately owned land. But we're in the National Forest, but it's right adjacent to this private resort. I call it a resort, but it's Trinity Outpost is the name of it. It's their off season right now, but apparently during the early summer, there's a lot of families that come and camp up there. And that's why they have the store there. There's a couple of caretakers there, Carrie and Jerry, who take care of the place. They live there year round. They say they get a lot of snow and they get snowed in during the winter time. But that's kind of interesting. Anyway, I'm just finishing off my morning coffee, which I brought with me, and we're getting ready to head back up to our campground. I don't think we've seen one deer this morning, but we're gonna head on back and keep our eyes open for more deer on the way. And then tomorrow we're going home, so this is our last day of hunting. Tomorrow we'll be packing up and leaving, heading back home. This really was a wonderful campsite. Strangely enough, we were the only ones there the whole time, other than the people that lived in the private campground nearby. They had brand new bear boxes, they had clean restrooms, they had nice trails, and there was plenty of firewood. This was an old abandoned trailer we found out in the woods. There was lots of lumber in this forest. Every night we had a good campfire to sit around after dinner. The four of us got to know each other very well during the 5 days we were camping together. We spent a lot of time driving down forest dirt roads, getting the car all scratched up.
Probably want the bigger one, right?
The big salad bowl, yeah, we've got a big salad.
Okay, how's that?
go inside the store here at Deerlick Springs and show you what it looks like. Currently about, I guess 80 degrees. We have a freezer with some ice in it, some snacks, chips for sale, some sodas for sale, some camping equipment, some clothes for sale, and some other little things here for family camping. Got paper plates, some cooking equipment, some coloring pencils, some firewood, hats, shirts, firewood bundle. And that's it. Bob just came down here to get some water. There's a water faucet over there for washing dishes and things. So he just filled up a 5-gallon bucket and took it back to the camp up there.